Welcome, friends. I'm so glad that you've joined me today, and I'm going to share a recipe with you that I came up with because I don't know if some of you remember, but many moons ago, you could buy a cake mix that was a bundt streusel cake mix. You make it in a bundt pan, and it had the streusel mix included in a separate package that you would put in the middle of your cake and then on top of your cake. Well, guess what? They stopped selling them and they don't make them anymore. So that's when I said, okay, I so enjoyed that cake and I thought I need to find a way to duplicate it. Well, I know it was like yellow cake mix, and then I know it had cinnamon and sugar in it. So I thought, well, let's just give it a whirl. So this is what I now do since I no longer can purchase that wonderful cake that I loved. I just make do. So let's start with a yellow box cake mix. And I'm just going to put that in my happy little bowl here. And then to that, I'm going to add 1 box of Jell-O vanilla instant pudding mix. So let's just throw that in there. Adding this Jell-O kind of gives this cake like a pound cake vibe, if you will. All right, so now I'm going to add 4 eggs to our happy little mix here. And then 1 1/4 cup of water and 1/2 cup of oil. Okay, so that's it. That is the ingredients for the cake portion. So now I'm just going to mix this up. Okay, now there's our cake. And then I have 2 loaf pans that I am going to spray with the Baker's Joy so that they don't stick. And you can certainly do this in a bundt pan if you would like to, but I wanted to give one of these away, so I'm making 2 loaf pans so that you could share with a friend if it's, you know, too much for you. But again, the loaf is also pretty if you just want to slice it to have with coffee or hot tea or whatever. So either way, whatever works for you. I have some cinnamon and sugar that I just mixed up. And again, some people like a lot of cinnamon, so add more if you want your cinnamon and sugar to be darker, okay? But this is about the color that I like as far as the cinnamon to sugar ratio, okay? Then in this bowl, I have some finely chopped pecans. If you don't like nuts, leave the nuts out. You don't have to add them. I just do. And the box never had pecans, but I always added them. So I have very, very tiny pecans that I am going to add. And the company that I get these from is called Streusel Pecans. And they have the best pecans. So these are already all chopped up really, really fine. Saves me time. I don't have to do it, and they're delicious. Look at my happy spatula. Look at this. Is that not beautiful? My wonderful friend Debbie gave me this set. It's actually a spatula, and there's like a cutting board thing that came with it. But isn't it nice to have wonderful friends that think of you and just give you a gift just because? Like, how wonderful is that? So Deb, thank you so much. You're just a little sugar muffin. I love you. So let's put half of our cake mix in the bottom of this pan. Well, not half, but I'm just going to put enough to cover the bottom of this pan. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put enough to cover the bottom of this pan. There we go. Okay, and I think I want just a tad more in that one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just take my spatula and I'm going to just kind of put a dip right down the center of this. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And it kind of pushes back and goes in. But the whole idea is I want to put my cinnamon and sugar mixture right down the middle there. Oh my goodness, the cinnamon smells so good. I love the warm hints of cinnamon. I like anything with cinnamon in it though, truthfully. I just love cinnamon. Okay, so I'm trying to just stay kind of like in the middle of the cake, but yet trying to go to the edges as well, just because I don't want the sugar to burn on the sides of the pan. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with some of these finely chopped pecans right down the center. There we go. So then we're going to put these little happy pecans in this one in the center. Okay. And then now I'm going to go back and put cake mix right over the top of this one. And then over this one. You guys ever need a quick dessert? You have company coming over for coffee. This is like great. This is all stuff that you could just have available and ready in your pantry that you could just pull out and make this wonderful cake. When they walk in the house, they're going to smell these baking, and oh my goodness, cinnamon smells so wonderful. I'm just going to spread this right over. There we go. Okay, and then now I'm just going to go ahead and put some more cinnamon and sugar on top. And pecans as well. It's going to be delicious. And then I'm just topping it with some more nuts. Okay, I think that's good. So now we're going to just put it in the oven, and I'm going to set the timer for 45 minutes because if you make it as a bundt cake, the whole cake together, you leave it in for an hour. But because I have separated into loaves, I have a feeling it's not going to take as long to cook. So I'm going to set my timer for 45 minutes, and then I'll check it at that time and see if we need to let it cook a little longer or if it's done. And we're going to go ahead and make the glaze that we're going to put on top. And I'm not really going to measure this. I'm just going to put some powdered sugar in a bowl here. And I want to make enough to drizzle over both loaves. So let's start with that and see what we do. And then I'm using heavy whipping cream. I'm going to add that. And I want this a little bit thin because, again, I don't want it like a frosting. I want it more like a glaze. And then let's put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then let's see what consistency. I think, obviously, this is going to be too thick. I can already tell. I'm going to add some more. Ooh, I'm going to add some more cream to this. You can use heavy whipping cream. You can use half and half. You can use evaporated milk in your icing, whatever you want to do. Obviously, because I use the vanilla extract in this, it's turned it sort of a tannish color. But if you wanted it to remain white, you could use the clear vanilla extract and it won't turn the color of your icing. I like the consistency of this because the whole idea is I want to drizzle it over the cake. So I think this will be good. Perfect. There we go. There's our icing for our cake. What I ended up doing was the oven was set at 350 degrees and I left them in there for 30 minutes and then I tried them and they weren't done in the middle. So I reduced the oven temperature to 325 and left it for the last 15 minutes. So it baked a total of 45 minutes, 350 for 30 minutes, and 325 for 15 minutes. I just took them out of the oven so they're still hot, and I'm going to go ahead and just drizzle this icing over the top. Oh my word, you guys, this cinnamon smells so good. Yum. So, so good. And then what you're going to do is let them cool before you serve them. You just want to kind of spread your icing so that each slice will have icing on it. This isn't a frosting, so every little inch doesn't have to have it on there. You can do this as a bundt. You could even do it in a 13 by 9 if you want to. And just keep in mind your temp and cooking times are going to differ just a little bit. But I cannot wait to taste this, so I hope it hurries up and cools off so I can have some. But you guys make this, you will love it. I promise you, it is delicious. You guys have a blessed day. And remember, your help comes from the Lord. I love you guys.